Hey, it's Brad, and it has been 2 weeks since the opening day of the Iowa bow season. This is unique for me because I've never gone out this late or for the first time to my primary hunting area. Now, if you've been watching, I've been focused on our home property because I've been trying to harvest a doe or two at our home property. Unfortunately, we've not had success. So we have a cold front that's come through, and I'm looking forward to hunting for the very first time one of my brand new food plots and new tree stand sets. So looking forward to doing that today. I've had plenty of activity on the trail cameras for the last couple of weeks, and especially as the cold front's been kind of moving through. The issue is not going to be will we see deer. I fully expect to. The issue is going to be can Brad exercise trigger control. I'd really prefer not to take out a doe here at this point because I'd rather do that at our home property. I don't have any of my target bucks per se that I've been seeing. I know they're out here. I've been mostly seeing some younger bucks, 2 to 3 year olds, but hopefully we can at least get some stuff on camera. But it is a cold front. It's beautiful out right now. The wind is about where we want it to be. We don't want it dead calm. We don't want it blowing 20 to 30 miles an hour, which it was yesterday. So really is ideal. And the north-northwest wind that we have shifting to the west is going to work real well for the stand we're going to be in tonight. So, all right, we're going to have you follow along down our creek access. So looking forward to doing that for the first time this year. I will see you out in the stand. We made it up here, and man, I forgot how slowly I need to be walking. I am pretty sweaty. Anyway, we made it up here. I needed to make a couple adjustments because this is the first time I'm up in the stand, so clearly I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was. I also need to remember to slow down as I'm trying to get here. I am planning on being just comfortable during the sit, but man, I forgot that you're going to get too hot if you go too fast, so slow down. And that's why it's always great to give yourself plenty of time. All right, so we got about 2 hours before we have sundown, so plenty of time just to settle in here and see what shows up. Really excited about this. This feels so great. I love it out here. Hey, just real quick, I can see from right here the stand location where I shot my first buck on this property back in 2021. I had no equipment. We closed on the property way too late, so I had no food plots, and so I was just relying on what I hoped would be just deer showing up. And this buck came from the opposite direction I expected him to, right in the middle of the rut, cross the creek, and he didn't go very far after the shot. It was pretty cool, but the seeds of this project and this stand, I guess eventually, were birthed then because I was looking out into this area, and I did see some does that were coming out. I was actually planning on potentially hunting does that night, even though it was the rut. I didn't know what to expect, but I thought about this spot 3 years ago, and so it's so cool to see it take shape. And so yeah, this is our first hunt up here, and can't wait to see what shows up. So thanks for hanging out with me. No, it didn't suddenly get brighter during the hunt. It's actually the next evening. So it's about 4:45, and we got a couple hours before the end of the shooting light. But yesterday I didn't do a wrap up because the wind disappeared and it was so quiet. So I decided to take my time getting out of here, and by the time I got back to the truck, it was too late. So anyway, I am obviously not showing you anything that happened yesterday because no deer showed up in my plot. A little shocked by that, but when I got back to my truck, I had a ton of pictures from other areas of the property. So the mostly bucks, they were moving, and so that was cool to see. A little bit disappointing it wasn't here. I don't think I was interested in taking any of them anyway, but I was hoping to see some action. It wasn't to be. So where these pictures are coming from are farther away from where I'm at, and by the time some of them you'll see were actually in this plot later, it was long after I was gone, so they must have been moving in this direction. So it's actually going to be colder this evening into tomorrow morning, so potentially below freezing. We have a freezing warning in the area, so especially thinking there'll be even more activity. So we'll see. The wind shifted just a little bit. It's the north-northeast instead of north-northwest, so it still works for this stand. But after today, the winds are going to be shifting out of the south, so this stand will not work. And we have a couple other options we're going to maybe look into to see what we can do there. All right, so I didn't do a interview at the truck because I did something a little bit different on my way in today. So when I was leaving, I told you it was so quiet. And I think I stepped on every single leaf in the entire woods. It was nuts. It was so loud. So what I decided to do was get here a little bit early, and I brought my rake, and I literally raked a good portion of my path that I go down the creek bed. Is this necessary? No. The deer are used to hearing other things walk. You can hear opossums and raccoons and squirrels and chipmunks, other deer. So that isn't abnormal in a deer's world. However, the cadence of a human walking is different. So I'm trying to minimize how many leaves that I actually step on. So I'm not looking to make this look like my sidewalk at the house, so I have to get everything off. No, I'm just trying to minimize the amount of leaves that are there. It's been dry. The leaves are super crunchy, so I'm trying to minimize that. I'm not trying to be totally silent. If I can, great, but the way that you walk in, how you approach, the path you take, all those things are significant. So we already have a great setup with the creek, how awesome it is to get to one end of the property to the other. Let's take advantage of it even more by cleaning it up. So anyway, I came in and did that first, and then I came back a second time with all my gear on and still was a little bit sweaty here. So we're going to hopefully have a good sit tonight, hopefully give you some cool things to look at, but either way, it's still gorgeous out here. This is awesome, and we'll hopefully have some success. And if we don't have success, it's still successful because we're out in the woods and we're enjoying the nature around us and all the creation. So, all right, hopefully I'll bring you something soon. Well, that's more like what I thought yesterday would look like. Those 3 does that came down my access path initially, they ended up going down the creek bed across to the other side, so they didn't actually come into the food plot. Had that group come in, that first doe was nice size, I probably would have tried a shot at her, but they were probably good 60, 70 yards away. And then just a minute later is when that little buck came out. He was kind of fun to watch him. He went away, and then he came back briefly. Then I saw him coming towards my tree, and there was a small doe with him. She never came into the food plot, and she was pretty small. She was probably a yearling, so I wasn't interested in her. But so we got about 45 more minutes of sunlight left, so we'll see what else shows up. Now that's what I'm talking about. We've had deer around us for most of the night. That last buck kind of came around me. I was afraid he was going to wind me, but he didn't. He kind of sauntered down into the creek behind me, so that was cool. Well, we have about 20 more minutes. The wind's died down again, so not sure if we'll see anything. I'm not going to be taking a shot unless it's a big doe or a big buck. So you don't anticipate that, but we'll see. Actually, tomorrow night I'm more likely to take a doe in another area farther away from here. It's kind of on the fringe, so maybe we'll just wait for that tomorrow. But this is cool. It's cool to see this plot working. So unless something happens, I'll close here. Thanks for watching.